Hi guys, welcome to another tactical video. This one is for the Adeptus Sororitas, or Sisters of Battle Codex, and today I'm talking about the Ecclesiarchy Relics, and how they can benefit your characters, and if they're any good basically. So it should be quite a quick video. I'm just going to go through the basics, starting with the Book of St. Lucius, which is the cheapest one. This only costs 5 points. And it's actually pretty straightforward. It basically means that any friendly unit, or rather all friendly units within 12 inches of the bearer of the book, automatically pass any fear or regroup tests. So that can be kind of pointless in many ways. Reason being is, for instance, if you have priests in the units, then they're fearless anyway. If Celestina's in a unit, they're fearless. If they're near Jacobus, then they're fearless, 12 inches and stuff. So passing fear would happen anyway. And also they wouldn't need to regroup because they're fearless. If you don't have any of those things, or you're playing at smaller point level and that kind of thing, then the Book of St. Lucius is actually pretty good. And the other good thing about the Book of St. Lucius is it doesn't matter how bad the squad is if it's running, like how low it is. If you need a double one to rally it, then at least this lets you regroup automatically as soon as you get within 12 inches of it. So you can basically put it in a unit that's on the back line and just make sure that any unit passing by will stop running and rejoin the fight. So for those reasons, you're actually better off putting this upgrade on a priest. You could put it on a priest or a canoness. Purely because, that priest can stay in a unit, say Retributors, on the back line, and a priest will make them fearless, but of course then anything coming nearby will automatically pass its regroup, so it gives you that last bastion of defense and keeps your troops on the actual battlefield. So for 5 points it's actually pretty good because it's a bubble and it affects everything. Without any priests, then automatically passing fear can actually be a big bonus to you, because fear can really mess you up if it affects you. So it's one of those rules everyone forgets because there's so many things in the game that it just ignore fear, and even amongst Sisters of Battle armies that's true, but only if you build it that way. So if you haven't built it that way and you've got no priests, then you should certainly look at the Book of St. Lucius for a single priest even. Now next is the Litanies of Faith. This is 15 points, and this is easily the most popular relic in the entire book, and it's my most popular one as well. I don't take it all the time, but often I do take it, and basically what this does is the bearer and the bearer's unit, and any independent character that has joined the bearer's unit, automatically pass any leadership test required when attempting to use Act of Faith or war hymns. So immediately you can see that's a bonus because you're automatically passing any Act of Faith. So if you've got that Simulacra Imperialis, you don't even need to test. If you've got a squad with an Act of Faith, Simulacra Imperialis, and Uriah Jacobus in the squad, then immediately you're getting 3 Acts of Faith and you never ever need to test for them, so that's really nice. The other good thing is, of course, it applies to war hymns, and in the 7th edition rules, war hymns are made on the priest's leadership, which is only leadership 7. So because of that, it means you don't have to roll for the war hymns, so you automatically get those war hymns. So this is a really good upgrade to take on a priest if you are in a unit with several priests. If you've got more than one priest and you need their war hymns to go off, then this is the perfect upgrade. It's appropriately priced, I think. 15 points is not bad. It's the cost of a power weapon basically to ensure huge benefits to your unit. So depending on the unit, this is a very good thing to take. If you don't need those war hymns, then personally I wouldn't bother, because war hymns are a lot more powerful than Acts of Faith. So as a result, you can usually get by without doing Acts of Faith, or there's better ways to test for Act of Faith because it goes on the highest leadership of the unit instead. And also you can use things like loud hailers to affect it. So for those reasons, I'd say put it on priests in a priest heavy unit, and you'll have good times with that. The Cloak of St Aspira is 20 points. This is pretty good. It's it can actually be taken on a priest or a canoness, which is kind of strange, but you know. Oh, I forgot to mention that these upgrades so far can also be taken on a Dialogus in a command squad. That's the only other thing besides canoness and priest that can take these things. So that includes the Cloak of St Aspira, and basically what it does is it lets you reroll all failed armor saving throws and Shield of Faith invulnerable throws. So basically it's like a war hymn, but it's effective all the time. So it's good in shooting, and you know, it lets you reroll the Shield of Faith roll. Now Shield of Faith roll is only a 6-up invulnerable save, so you know, it'd actually be quite good at keeping the Dialogus alive. However, is that really worth it? I don't personally think so. It's not going to affect the priest, because the priest only has a 5-up armor save and a 4-up invulnerable save, so you know, it's not really going to work there. And of course he doesn't even have Shield of Faith, so it's a waste on the priest. So basically you're looking at a canoness, and it's good on the canoness if she doesn't take the Rosarius. Although if you are taking a canoness without a Rosarius, then you're doing something wrong. So because of that, I would say that, you know, it's good for tanking. If you have the canoness, it means that she can tank for a unit within reason. If the canoness has the 5-up invulnerable save warlord trait that makes Shield of Faith a 5-up, then suddenly it becomes a lot better, because it's a re-rollable 5-up invulnerable save at all times. Anything worse than that, you could just like look out Sarah to someone else. Maybe she's in a unit of Crusaders. That's a decent effective use for it. So yeah, pretty good actually, pretty good for tanking. You know, be careful with it, because you know, 20 points is getting to the point where it's a significant chunk, but it's a huge upgrade. Really, if on the right kind of place. It's very, very hard to find the right place for it, but once you've got it, like as I say, a Battle Conclave would be a good place for that. Okay, so next is the Mace of Valaan. This is 25 points, and this is priests only. Okay, so you can't take it on anything else. This is, I actually kind of like this one. Basically, it's a power maul, so it's +2 strength, it's AP 4, it's concussive, of course, but it's also mastercrafted, which doesn't help much in the first round of combat, of course, because you're rerolling to hit anyway, but it'll help a little extra in like challenges and things later on, if the combat drags out for a bit. The main thing it has is a rule called Chaos Bane, and what this does is whenever you're within 6 inches of any model with the Demon special rule, then you gain Flesh Bane and Armor Bane as well. So that'd be a Strength 5 Armor Bane attack, so that'd be quite good, or a Strength 5 Flesh Bane attack, so winning on 2 regardless. Basically that's there to hit the, what you call it, monstrous creatures, you know, like the demon, greater demons and stuff like that, demon princes. It's basically there so you can challenge them out, use your war hymns to keep your guy alive with a re-rollable 4-up invulnerable save, and of course he only needs 1 wound to get through, and if he's wounding on 2-up, that's really good. He just needs 1 wound to get through, and you know, it's doing a concussive hit. Now of course, if you have enough priest support in this unit, then you could also give this guy Smash, at which point he's AP 2. So he'd be wounding on the 2, he'd be AP 2, he's got Mastercrafted, he'd be getting several attacks if you build him right. And of course, it knocks the Demon Prince down to Initiative 1, which helps everybody else in the squad, so that's really, really good. Pardon me. So, even though it's expensive, 25 points, it's actually pretty good. It's basically the same cost of Power Fist. It's a lot more niche to get use out of it, of course. It's useless against anything. Well, I say useless. It's still a mastercrafted Power Maul. It's expensive, but, you know. But, yeah, against any army with demons in it at all, even Eldar taking the avatar of Cain, because that's got the demon special rule, anything like that at all, then it's actually really, really effective. So, yeah, pretty good. If you know what you're going to be facing, give it a whirl. It's actually pretty effective. Right, so next is probably the second most famous one, is the Mantle of Ophelia. This is 25 points as well. This can be taken on anything, just like the others. Although why you would take it on anything but a canoness, I don't know, because basically what this does is it gives the character the Eternal Warrior special rule. So it means they're immune to instant death. Now, basically the only place for this is the canoness. I really don't know why they have not put the restriction on this, because it's pointless not to have the restriction on this. But yeah, pretty much as it sounds, if your canoness has the Rosarius and you know, she can basically not worry about getting killed straight out. Even though she's only toughness 3, she's going to basically be able to take 3 wounds before she dies. So you can see why it's popular. That said, it's expensive, and because you only have that 3 up armor save and you're still toughness 3, I find that canonesses die pretty damn quick anyway. You could put this on a priest, but you get absolutely no benefit. You could put this on the Dialogus, but you get absolutely no benefit whatsoever, because they only have 1 wound each anyway. So yeah, that's the Mantle of Ophelia. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, the last one is the Blade of Admonition. This is canoness only, and also replaces 1 weapon carried by her. Basically what this is a relic blade, a Space Marine relic blade. You get +2 strength, you get AP free, you'll strike at initiative, and it's mastercrafted. And that's it. I think, because this is 30 points, I think that is actually very much overcosted. A Space Marine relic blade is 25 points. It's exactly the same thing, only it doesn't have mastercrafted. Okay. The thing is, it's on a much stronger platform. You've got a strength 4, toughness 4, initiative 4 platform for a normal thing. If you're good on a captain, you're high weapon skill, you got better initiative, you know, you got the strength and toughness, you can even boost it with bikes and that kind of thing. You can give them 2 up armor save, that kind of thing. Basically, you're getting more for your points on a Space Marine because you have a much better platform to put this kind of weapon on. Pardon me. And of course, you'd be hitting first against most things, whereas a canoness is basically hitting at the same time as a normal Space Marine. So, generally speaking, against the kind of characters and stuff, where this would be effective, you know, it wouldn't really help. What's funny is the Blade of Admonition is exactly the same stats as the Ardent Blade that Celestine carries. So basically, it's like a mini Celestine Light, only without the heavy flamer. So you can kind of use it to build a Celestine thing, but the problem is, it's not really worth it. If you wanted to do it, then you'd be better off with just a Power Lance instead, because you're getting that +1 strength, still AP free, happening all at the same time anyway, and you know, you've got hatred for the rerolls, so it's even better. So, yeah, I think this is overcosted. I don't really see many people taking this. A lot of people actually prefer to use an Eviscerator because it's a lot stronger. You know, it's better against armor, and it's AP 2, even though it's going last. When you're initiative 4, it doesn't matter so much. So, yeah, I don't think that's been well thought out. Now, when you look at these relics, basically you can kind of see how if a character could take more than 1, it would work pretty well. You could basically build a decent character. You could build one that buffs the unit with the Litanies or the Book of St. Lucius. You could build a tanky character with the Cloak and the Mantle, and then of course you could combine that with the Blade of Admonition, and suddenly you've got a character with a Relic Blade, Mastercrafted Relic Blade, who's also got Eternal Warrior and is re-rolling all their armor saves and invulnerable saves. So yeah, that would be effective. But as it is, you can only take 1. So basically it's a tough choice. Personally, because you can only really take these on a canoness or a priest, outside of the buffing ones or the Mace of Valaan situationally, I would only really take the Cloak of St. Aspira for the reroll saves, and that would be in a very niche setup that I would run occasionally. So it's a bit of a shame, really. looking at some of these things, like for instance the Mantle of Ophelia, there is no point in that not being on the canon list, and that kind of smacks of them planning for other HQs. Like, we lost Confessors in this codex, we lost Kirinov. Were there supposed to be Confessors that were like a more souped up kind of priest in between Jacobus? That would make a lot of sense. You could put the Mace of Valaan and the Mantle on there and it'd suddenly be a lot tougher to get through. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where the problems with the relics could be solved pretty easily if we had more choice, more options open, or just more units in general in the HQ slot that could actually take them. As it is, with the one normal independent character HQ, you know, we don't really have those options, and it just feels really out of place. And I feel like basically this, either Relic list was written first before the other stuff was written, or they just haven't communicated between each other. It's like someone else has written this part compared to the other parts of the characters. You know, it's like someone's gone through these relics and gone, okay, we'll take this, this, and this, because it would work in another codex. Having said that, the general power level of all these relics is actually quite low compared to most codexes. For instance, the Eldar and the Space Marine Codex, and even the Tau Codex, has some really nice stuff. Whereas these, like, your best weapon is a Mastercrafted Relic Blade. I'm sorry, but that's really not that good. So where's the 2 Armor Save relics and that kind of thing? Where's the shooty guns? There's nothing like that. Bit of a wasted opportunity, really. You know, but I'm sure it will change in future. When eventually we get a new codex, it should get buffed up. So generally speaking, the best kind of relics to take are the ones that buff your army. So the Book of St. Lucius and the Litanies of Faith. If you have a canoness, you're going to want to take one at least. Which one you take depends on whatever equipment you are taking on her. And the Mace of Valaan, while situational, can be very effective against demon players. So yeah, there you go. Let me know what you thought about this video. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll be back soon with more tactical videos, so thanks for watching.